Hello again. A lot of people want to use miniatures and terrain in their games. The downsides, the obstacles that stop DMs from bringing in minis and terrain, are twofold. Although buying minis can be reasonably cheap, individually, especially if you put it on the players to buy minis for their own characters. Buying terrain is prohibitively expensive. Secondly, making your own terrain, although inexpensive, is very time-consuming and very challenging for anyone who hasn't spent time building up the necessary skills to do so. There are solutions, though. There is a way to make terrain both easy and cheap. All it involves is a little bit of shopping around and little dollar store acrylic paint. Thrift stores and dollar stores can actually provide almost everything you need to set up terrain on your battle map, as well as some of the monsters in a lot of cases. I know there's at least, get this to work properly. Why does that keep moving? I know there's at least 2 or 3 mission thrift stores here in Chilliwack. There's a Value Village. All told, I think there's over a dozen various thrift stores in town, and this is a city of less than 100,000 people. I'm sure that wherever you are, there's got to be at least 2 or 3 places like that for you to look for stuff. In thrift stores, yeah, there's always the toy department. That's the obvious one, but check out the other sections too. This bridge, for example, it's the perfect size for standard minis. It's supposed to be a decoration for an aquarium, and it was 99 cents at Value Village. Something similar from a game store, actual purpose-made terrain, would probably be around 20 bucks. These large crystals, glass one and 2 plastic ones, for magical fields or magic items or areas of effect. As well as this totem pole, were parts of old trophies. Again, they were like $2 for the pile of them. So yeah, check out the toys in the thrift store. Pick up the Polly Pocket dollhouse, and stuff, and give them a quick paint job. But check the other sections too. You never know what you'll find there. Model train landscape stuff. Christmas village houses, pieces of old lamps, fish tank decorations. There could be a lot of good stuff in there for $2 or less. The aforementioned Polly Pocket dollhouse sets and the furniture and accessories for them, they're about the right size or close to it. Are they perfect? No, they're fucking pink. But you give them a quick coat of cheap paint, and they're good enough. Plus, there's always a chance that somebody donated some actual terrain, and you'll be able to pick it up dirt cheap as well. Next, we have dollar stores. Here in town, as I said, less than 100,000 people. There's $1 Dollar Tree, $2, $3 Dollarama's, and that's just the chain stores. There's 4 or 5 independent places as well. So again, there's plenty of places to look for cheap terrain. Just be a little creative about it. Look in the craft section. Now, I've seen a lot of balsa wood mini birdhouse kits or pre-built, decorative birdhouses, as well as the seasonal cheap Christmas village houses, like this one. It's roughly the right scale. This one was $4. They're guaranteed to be under $5 each from Dollarama, cheaper than that from Dollar Tree. Check the garden section too. Seasonally, they'll have those little fairy houses to put in your garden. Kind of, they got little Smurf houses that are big mushrooms, little tree stump houses, little cabins and stuff. They even have redneck teardrop campers that are to the right scale. All you do is put a couple of plastic horses in front of it instead of a broke down Ford. And then you got the makings of a merchant caravan or traveling entertainers or something. All of these are made to roughly the same scale, and it's close enough to your minis to actually work with them. You can find cheap molded plastic animals too. Like this one is dogs and cats. There's one of each right here. That one was $1. But stuff like farm animals, you can usually find dinosaurs. There was even a bag of plastic dragons for $3.50 in there. Last time I was in a dollar store. There's green army men, which are only a little bit bigger than your standard minis. But sometimes they have similar stuff like a bag full of knights in armor. That could be a pretty useful way to spend $2 or $3. The last thing you want to check in the dollar store is back in the craft section though. Cheap-ass little squeeze bottles of acrylic paint. It's fast, it's easy, and it's lazy. And if you want to get really detailed with painting everything, you have that option. But quick and dirty also works. Either way, it's cheaper than going to an actual hobby store. I mean, go to a hobby store, you shell out $10 for a bottle of paint, half the size of the one that cost you $1.50 at Dollarama. Between the toys and the craft section, you can likely find stuff for scatter terrain too, like trees, as well as any glue you might need if you want to put stuff together. If you're really intent on starting to build your own terrain, or if you can't find something reasonably close enough to represent whatever situation your players have gotten themselves into, there's the foam core poster board that you can pick up at both Dollar Tree and Dollarama. You can likely get at least 3 or 4 buildings out of one sheet of it for less than $2. And you can paint it to look like whatever you want. You can tape it or glue it together. Doesn't really matter. You just have to make it look like what you want it to look like. You just need a knife. You can buy that at the dollar store too. And color it with the same cheap paint as everything else. So in conclusion, as far as terrain goes, you don't have to shell out hundreds of dollars on pre-made setups. You don't have to invest in a hot wire tool and professional quality spray booth. And you don't need to spend weeks at a time building and airbrushing every single brick on a house. There's always going to be a cheaper, easier way. You've probably got a dozen more ideas and suggestions that I haven't come up with yet. So share with the class. Leave a comment, like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.